In fact, thanks for having me up. I'm
Tell me, doctor, where are we going this time?
What's up, everybody? How you feeling? Thanks for having me up. I'm super excited and a little sick because every time I see any type of video or any kind of montage, it always takes me back to our sales process. Everything I see these patterns, right? And when I look at that little bit of footage, I think Marty McFly had advanced technology, right? We have advanced technology, DeLorean versus MCOT. Marty McFly had to be in the right place at the right time, the clock tower, in order to make this happen. We have to be in the right place at the right time with our customers. He had to have activity and momentum, specifically 88 miles per hour to make that jump. And we use our activity to build momentum, to build our sales up. But sometimes everything can still go wrong. Something breaks. We have a service gap, right? And we need to rely on our team to complete the mission. In fact, I've had that face a couple times in the field, just to be honest, right? And so all that together, sometimes it does take a little bit of luck. It takes lightning to strike in order for everything to go right and you make that jump and hit your goal. Now, they say that luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right? So let's talk about what we can do to be prepared. But first, let's take a second and honor the P Club winners from last night. One more time. Give them some love. Amazing work, you guys. It really is all inspiring. Now, when it's all said and done, how many people who didn't win in your head was like, 2024 is my year? Anybody? Yes, absolutely. Let's hear it. Now, there's a good news. There is a formula for sales success that doesn't rely on luck. There's a term called multipliers, and it is the top 10% of any sales organization. They are efficiency ninjas. They get more results with less energy. They're less likely to burn out. And there are things that you can execute, 3 simple steps that you can execute on a regular basis to get to multiplier status. You guys interested? We get that going? Very easy to do, but very few people do these things with consistency. Habit number one is have a written plan. Have a detailed plan for the next day. 80% of multipliers have a written plan for their next day. And this compares to 10% of the entirety of the rest of the organization. Hard to believe. When you have a written plan, they've done studies after study with this, your productivity tends to go up by 25%. Your goal attainment increases by 33%, and your anxiety goes down by 46%. That's incredible. I can't guarantee that I'm the most clinical AE in the room. I can't guarantee that I'm the most well-spoken. I can't even guarantee I'm the tallest. But when it's all said and done, I can guarantee I can control whether I have a written plan for the next day. So what I'm asking you guys to do is control the controllables and make that happen. Now, what I would tell you is this. You're asking me, I can hear you think out loud. I've got my calendar in my phone, and I've got a to-do list. That to-do list may be keeping you average, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Every day at the end of my day out in the field, I would end it the same way. I would go by Starbucks, I would steal some Wi-Fi, I would do my emails, my bumps, all that great stuff, right? But I would also have a daily written plan crafted for the next day. This is the sheet that I use specifically to do that. This made me incredibly effective and efficient in the field, okay? But there was another benefit. I was able to close those tabs that were in my brain. And I was able to go home and set my bag down and be with my family. Your kids, your spouse, probably your cat, can tell when you're physically there but not mentally there because you haven't closed your tabs. And how many people wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning trying to solve all your work problems? How does that work for you? It's never worked for me. But when I had a written plan for the next day, it was, I was emptying my brain, put it down on paper, and I could go home and function well. Anxiety, down 46%. It absolutely works. Do that. Don't be an A+ AE and a C+ parent. That's a horrible trait, okay? We can have both. Just do a plan. You can be great at everything. Close your tabs. Notice here, I've got priorities broken out. Remember I said that your to-do list is keeping you average? Let's talk about why that is. But imagine this situation. At the beginning of the day, I hand you a Nerf gun. And I give you 5 bullets. You only get 5 bullets. And I send you into a room that has 10 targets. 7 of those targets are worth $10. And the other 3 targets are like a Mr. Beast size $10,000 payout, right? But they all look alike. You go in, you shoot what you can shoot, and hopefully you're lucky enough to hit one of these other targets, correct? That'd be great. But remember, I want you to be better than lucky. The next day I send you in, same Nerf gun, same 5 bullets, you only get 5, but this time you walk in and 3 of those targets are red. 7 of those targets are blue. It becomes very clear that those 3 targets are the $10,000 targets. What would you do in that situation? You would take all your bullets and you shoot at the red targets first, and with anything left, you go with the blue targets. When you do a to-do list, all of your targets look the same, and you scratch them off. And it feels good to, cross it off, and it looks great when you walk into your account, you're like, I solved your problem, and they give you a high five, you get the warm fuzzies, right? But let me tell you, 90% of the requests you get from your account are blue targets. So to not identify what's gonna move your business is a big mistake, and just to react all day. You will not grow your business just focusing on blue targets. You wanna identify your red. Now, what are those red targets, right? Red targets are anything that grow your business. Ask for like a referral, cold call, clinical care pathways. Switch your events to MCOT, switch your 24 hours to extended hold tours. We all know that. Those are red targets. Things that fortify your business, EMR integration, 6-month follow-up visits. We went over that yesterday in some of the breakouts. Workflow solutions. And honestly, those pour concrete on your existing business, making them hard to penetrate by our competitors. And next, you want to address pain, identify pain in your accounts. We'll go over what that looks like in a minute. Red targets tend to be important, but not necessarily urgent. So you punt them from day to day, week to week, month to month. I get around to it eventually. And that thing on your list that sort of makes you nervous, that pit in your stomach, that conversation with that provider that doesn't quite love us yet, are the first things you punt to the next day, because I got to deliver an e-patch, right? That is a red target type of item. Your gut will tell you when it is. And we are in the fortunate position that we can turn blue targets into red targets with a great marketing message and some intentionality when we take service opportunities and turn them into sales opportunities. Every act of service is an on-ramp to be able to sell. I talked about pain a second ago. Pain is an important motivator. Growth is another, but pain is urgent. We want to identify pain within our offices. Now understand, pain is relative. The pain that your lead EP has is different than the pain of the nurses inputting the order into the system, right? The pain has to be expressed, it has to be admitted, and it's how that role is hired, measured, and fired. So keep that in mind. And honestly, make it natural conversation. Don't be all corny with it. Doctor, what keeps you up at night, right? It's like, the gates will go up immediately, right? But do your 6-month follow-up visits. Ask great questions. Have conversations with the staff. They'll tell you what's going on. They'll tell you what's up, right? And then we take the capabilities we have with our total solution and we match it up with these pains, and that's how you win. That's how you get momentum. That's how you move that ball forward over and over again. Common pains in the industry. These are pretty universal at this point. Over here. 200 fewer RNs in the field than there was just a year ago. Length of stay is increasing almost everywhere universally, Hospital margins are plummeting. Remember the other day, John, I think, said, we're getting more heads in beds, but we're not making more money. This is universally felt. So we can help with all these things through our solution, and we match their pain with our solution. Number 3, the last one, set minimum standards. John Grisham right here, prolific writer, has written 28 bestsellers, 300 million copies. So you assume he's like, hey, I'm going to sit down and write for 10 hours every day. John doesn't sit down every day for 10 hours. His goal is 1 page. Now, oftentimes, he will do more than 1 page, and that's fine. But he's looking for that consistency. Base hit, base hit, base hit. Steph Curry's kind of on the other end of that spectrum. His minimum standard for himself is 500 shots per day. He's taken over 2 million shots in his career, and only 1% of those was in a game. The other's practice, right? So either shoot low and build consistency, shoot high and stretch. I don't care. It's your goal, but have a minimum standard for yourself. For me, it was see 3 existing accounts and make 1 legitimate sales attempt every day I was in the field. Think red target stuff, right? Something that scares you a little bit. It's not hard. You do it over and over. You can sustain that. You don't have to burn out over and over and over again. And the compound effects you're going to have with that is absolutely amazing. I promise you, you will see a difference. So now it's your turn to win, okay? If you are going to put all this stuff together, hold yourself accountable to these 3 things. Number 1, have a written plan every day. It's easy to do, but the discipline has to be there. Number 2, identify your priority tasks, your red targets. Nail that. 3, hold yourself to a minimum standard. And if you consistently go back to the basics and execute here, when lightning does strike, and it will, and you win that big account, you can close it and McFly your way up the P Club's rankings, okay? Thank you very much. That's my time.